Every time I take a look at the internet, be it Twitter or YouTube or whatever, I can't think of other social medias now for some reason, James Charles has done something to get himself in trouble. And usually it's something really stupid, like the last time he was cancelled was for pretending to be pregnant for 24 hours, some weird challenge where he put on a pregnant belly, and people got mad about that. They're also mad that he pretended to shave his head, which I genuinely could not care less about. But recently he's in a bit of trouble for something a lot more serious than pretending to be pregnant or pretending to shave his head. Serious enough, in fact, that he might even go to prison. What's crack, it's VangelinaSkov, and today we're going to be talking about, obviously, James Charles. I know at this point what's going on with him is pretty much old news, but I'm very confused by the situation. I know a lot of other people are very confused about the situation, so I thought it would be useful to just sit down, talk about what's going on, and figure out what is happening. Fair warning, there will be a bit of background noise in this video. Normally when my cats go crazy, like they have right now, I will just wait for them to finish running and I will talk in between all the noise. But I have to get ready to go somewhere in 10 minutes. So I don't have time to wait for them to be crazy and then speak. So I'm sorry, I'll do my best to fix that later on. Whoops. Exhibit A. Anyway, before I do go on to talk more about James Charles, if my cat would let me, please subscribe and click the bell button to turn on all notifications when I upload. You gotta check the all notifications button, otherwise it's unpersonalized and I don't know what that means. And if you want to, you can also check out the Patreon or the memberships with the links in the description. There is different benefits for both those tiers. There was just a new bloopers video that went out for both of those actually, and there should be a new podcast episode going up soon for all the patrons, so check those out if you want to. Now let's talk about the mess that is James Charles. To put it simply, James is in trouble for texting a 16-year-old, and by texting, I mean sharing nudes with. Now apparently when this was going on, James didn't actually know that this guy was 16 because he apparently told James that he was 18, but this was some fan that added him on Snapchat, and for some reason James Charles thought, yeah, that's a great idea, I'll just add this person that I don't know, and immediately start flirting with them and sending them nudes. Really fantastic train of thought there. Now James has actually put out a statement about this, so let's just read what he said about the situation. I did just pull my hair while I was talking there. Again, we don't have time for me to refilm that sentence. But yeah, let's just read his statement. And I want to sort of break it down. I have a couple of things that I want to say about it. So he says, there's a video going around about me on TikTok and Twitter of a guy calling me a groomer, and I want to address it right away. The accusations that I've groomed this person is completely false. Last week, I came across something on my Instagram Explore page, saw he followed me, and added him on Snapchat. This is a very weird circumstance. I don't know, that doesn't make sense to me. That you would see oh hey, this person follows me on Instagram, I have millions of followers, but I'm gonna add this one person on Snapchat. It's a weird train of thought. The next morning, I woke up to several snaps from this person being excited I added him back, saying he loved me, and also lewd photos of himself in the shower. Just like the way he just throws that in there. I asked how old he was right away, and he told me he was 18, so I started flirting back. In the excitement of meeting someone I thought could potentially be great, I read that sentence wrong, I didn't ask for a copy of his ID or passport. It's now clear based on the video he uploaded, he was taking photos of me with another device and had an ulterior motive from the beginning. I would like to reiterate here, the person that he's talking about is 16. And yes, 16-year-olds can be shitheads, but they are still children. So let's just keep that in mind as we go forward. Later in the day, he said a few things that made me question the validity of his original age answer, and when I asked him to confirm his age once again, he admitted he was 16. I told him I was really uncomfortable and apologized for flirting, but he insisted on continuing talking, saying it could be our little secret. He's a fan of mine and would never tell anyone. I told him I wasn't okay with this, he started getting upset, and at this point I unfriended him. This is what I would consider James's first mistake. So if he didn't realize that this guy was 16, said he was 18, whatever, and then later told him, yeah, actually I am 16, you don't continue the conversation. In that situation, you block them. You unfriend them or block them or whatever it is. You don't keep going, oh yeah, I'm not really comfortable about this, and giving this guy a chance to go, no, nobody needs to know, and then you continuing this until he gets upset. No, he says he's 16, you're 21, you immediately block this person. That's all there is to it. We haven't spoken since. I'm not victim blaming him or victimizing myself either, simply sharing what happened, and what happened was not okay. After false allegations like this in the past, I would never knowingly engage with anyone underage and put my life on the line for a few Snapchats. So here, this is the part of the post that confuses me the most. He says, I'm going to read it again. After false allegations like this in the past, I would never knowingly engage with anyone underage and put my life on the line for a few Snapchats. I know I stuttered over that. Here's the issue that I have with this, and I haven't seen anybody point this out specifically. They just have a problem with the whole post, obviously. So he's saying this is probably just weird wording, to be fully honest with you, but it is still weird wording, and I think you should think about these posts a lot more because it's a very serious situation. So he's saying, because of the stuff that happened in the past, I wouldn't talk to minors now. So are you saying that in the past you would have talked to minors because you never got in trouble for it before? I don't understand what you're trying to say. Are you saying if you hadn't gotten in trouble and the whole bi-sister scandal thing hadn't happened, would you be okay with texting minors? I'm confused. And this part. And put my life on the line for a few Snapchats. He's not saying the reason for not wanting to talk to these people is because it's wrong or morally wrong or they're minors or it's illegal. He's saying it's because I could get hurt by doing that. Are you following what I'm saying here? He's not saying, hey, I'm not gonna avoid texting minors because, you know, they're kids. It's illegal. There's a power imbalance. It's morally wrong. It's icky and gross. He's saying, I'm not going to text minors because I will get in trouble for that. That's not the right train of thought. That's incorrect. Again, maybe this is just a case of bad wording and he didn't think this through. But if that is the case, he should have thought about this a bit better because it's a very, very serious situation, which any statement that you make about that should be seriously considered and thought over before you put it out in the world. So either he meant this or it was a careless mistake in his wording. Either way, not good. Although one is clearly much more serious than the other. Because of situations like this, instead of taking someone's word for it, I will now ask to see the ID or passport of every guy I have a conversation with. Fair enough. But here's the thing, why are you texting your fans in the first place? Just random people. It's kind of weird. What I've seen people say online a lot, and I have to agree in some instances, is that there is a power imbalance and that he is James Charles talking to his fans in very inappropriate ways. And even if they are over the age of 18, there's still a parasocial relationship going on there because the fan will idolize James, not see him as, oh, here's this dude that I'm talking to, great. They will see him as James Charles. Not even just James Charles. I'm talking to James Charles. So that's just a weird disconnect there. And I just feel like there is no problem with, at least for the most part, just, you know, chatting with fans. But to be seeking out relationships with them is kind of odd. Especially when you're like, oh, this person follows me, let me follow them on Snapchat, oh, this and that and the other. Again, there's nothing like it's illegal. It's not the worst thing you could do, but it's weird nonetheless. And I've seen a lot of people talking about that point specifically, and I think it is important to bring up. And another point on that, let's say this situation was an honest mistake. He didn't realize that the guy was 16. After the bi-sister thing, would you not be more careful? You are James Charles. Your career nearly didn't recover after the bi-sister scandal. Why would you still go and message fans and share nudes with fans after literally just having started talking to them, never meeting them in person, not talking to them for more than a few hours even? It's just immediately like, oh, exchange nudes, okay, cool. I said nudes weird. Nudes. Nudes. And look, fair enough, exchange nudes if you want to and you're an adult and blah blah blah. But again, after everything that happened with him with the bi-sister stuff, you'd think he'd be more careful, but he's not. He's just like, oh yeah, cool, let me just do this thing. Think, not with your dick, think with your brain, with the brain, please. But on the topic of all the bi-sister stuff, the question that a lot of people asking are, well, were all the allegations that Tati made about James in that whole scandal true? Was he everything that everybody claimed that he was, what Jeffree Star claimed he was, what Tati claimed he was, what all the people who came out to talk about him said that he was? And obviously I'm not in a position to answer that. Nobody is in a position to answer that except for somebody who's directly involved. But weirdly, Tati went back to being friends with James. She said that everything that was said about him was not true. He's a great guy. We're friends again. So, was she full of shit? Or was she right? Or was she right and knew she was right and then decided to be friends with James anyway because people liked him again and she didn't want to be seen as the bad guy? Or did she really think that she was wrong about him and then decided to be friends with him even though she was right? Or was she just wrong? There's so many options here and it's so weird, but I do find it insanely weird that Tati would make these allegations, go back to being friends with him, and then more stories about him start to come up. And I don't think I'm the only one who finds that a little bit strange. But you do have to take into consideration that the stuff that is coming out about James Charles right now is very reminiscent of the things that happened around the Bi-Sister scandal. And it wasn't just this one 16-year-old guy who came out and said stuff about James. After this guy made his statements about James, 3 more people at least, maybe it was 4 people, I think 4 people came forward about James. Don't quote me on the numbers, I might be wrong. I don't have that in my notes for some reason. But more underage guys started coming out telling similar stories, and it's all just very weird. And yes, we do have to accept that people do some bad things for clout. People do lie. People do manipulate people. But in this situation, whether they're telling the truth or they're not, and I'm not questioning either of those things, I'm just saying, looking at both situations, James is the adult in this situation. They are the minors. It is his responsibility to be more careful, to ensure that who he's talking to is overage. And also, again, just going back to the point of not avoiding talking to minors because you'll get in trouble for it. Avoid talking to minors because it's gross and illegal and corrupt. But what has confused me the most about this situation is that this is very, very serious. James is acting like nothing happened. He's making TikToks, he's putting stories on his Instagram, having fun with his friends in his pool with his dog. He made a video completely unrelated, which was just him destroying his palette and making paint out of it. I haven't watched it, I've just seen the thumbnail. And I get that he thinks that he's done nothing wrong. He really does think that, so he just wants to move past this and get past all these vicious lies and things like that, or vicious mistreatments of him. I can't think of the word I want. Manipulations. He really clearly does think he's done nothing wrong, but all he's done about this is to make a text post on Twitter, not a text post, a note post. Oh my god, I sound so old. Jesus Christ. And the thing is, this is serious enough that the guy involved, the 16-year-old, has claimed that he's going to the police about it. James Charles could go to prison, and he's just ignoring it, which I find weird. I feel like I know everything doesn't need to be sorted on YouTube, but I feel like something more needs to be done than just, here's a Twitter post where people aren't even going to see it. Anyway, I do have a couple more things I want to say about this, but I do actually have to go very, very much on a time schedule right now. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, do let me know in the comments what you think about this whole situation. It is very, very weird and just, it's all over the place. And I don't like it. It makes me uncomfortable. But if you don't want to comment about that, then let me know in the comments. What is one place that you would love to travel to after the big bad no sneeze is gone? I don't know what else to call it. I don't know if we're still getting demonetized for saying that. But yeah, when we can all travel again, where would you like to go? Unrealistically, let's not be realistic about this. I want to go to Japan. I don't have the funds for that or the means to do it, but I want to go to Japan. Anyway, guys, that's going to be it from me for now. So like I said at the start of the video, please subscribe and turn on notifications to get notifications when I upload. I said that weirdly. And check out the Patreon or the memberships with the links in the description. And you can follow me on social media. There's a Twitter icon here, but I'm not on Twitter at the moment. So I'll be back there eventually, possibly, maybe. Cue a Björk song. Like, comment, share, and do all the things that I'm supposed to ask you to do at the end of a video, and have a wonderful day. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.